Full time at the London Stadium, West Ham United won, AFC Bournemouth won. It's West Ham's third successive Premier League draw on the bounce, of course, after starting our 2024 off with a goalless draw at home to Brighton, and then a draw to Sheffield United, and now another draw at home to Bournemouth. And, well, I mean, on balance after that first half, I'll take a point out of it, but not very good at all, was it? Very, very poor, especially in that first half. It was really dreadful and hard to watch. I mean, I can't understand in the end. I was quite excited to see how we were going to line up and what the formation was going to be and how it was going to look pre-match. But, I mean, I was horrified midway through the first half. Honestly, Moyes' formation master plan failed completely. It just didn't work at all. It didn't function. It wasn't successful. It was a complete and utter failure. Nobody had a clue what they were doing. We had Ward-Prowse on the left, I think Phillips on the left. We didn't have a left winger on the pitch, and it was just a write-off. And hopefully Moyes has learnt his lesson there to not play four centre midfielders and to maybe play a left winger that we've got on the bench in Maxwell Cornet would have helped the situation. Moyes got that completely wrong, and he's got to hold his hands up and say, that was on me, because it was. Because, he got the team selection wrong. There's no doubt about that. Hindsight is a wonderful, wonderful thing, and we can utilise that tonight and say that it was a bit of chaos. It was a bit of, trying to chuck a team together because we didn't know what was happening with Fornals and Saeed Benrahma. I understand that, and we've got to take that into consideration. But still, there was alternatives that Moyes could have used there tonight, which he chose not to, and I think probably should have done with the benefit of hindsight. But it still doesn't sway away from how poor the team were. It was just like, I just thought we were playing walking football in the first half. Like, we looked scared to run. The intensity was on the floor, and I mean, that, opening goal didn't fill the crowd with too much confidence, did it? Inside 4 minutes, it's just a calamity. We haven't conceded one of them goals for a while, and it's just a reminder that that's still in us. And it's a calamity. It's an absolutely woeful ball from Kurt Zouma. It's a hospital pass, not what you want 3 minutes into your debut at a club. And Phillips doesn't drown himself in any glory either, does he? Pretty much just plays it into the path of Dominic Solanke, and he can't believe his luck, and he makes it 1-0 in so 4 minutes. And if we're being brutally honest, they should have had the game to bed in the first 45. They could have been 3-0 up. There was a header, and there was also a chance for Semenyo that he failed to bury, which he should have done. And they could have been 3-0 up at half time when we couldn't have really moaned about it, to be honest. So we got fortunate there, that is for sure. And that was the only way we were going to score in the game, wasn't it? By getting a penalty. Why it took so long and why the referee missed it in real time, I will never know. There was 2 penalties in there. There was the pullback on the shoulder, and also the clashing of the legs as well. So a clear penalty. Why he had to jog up? He walked over to the monitor to look at it and then run back again. That was a pointless exercise, but nevertheless, he got the penalty. 2 penalties in 2 games, 2 goals in 2 games for James Ward-Prowse, and he's gone down the middle on both occasions. It'll be interesting to see the next one, whether he goes down the middle again. But no mistake from James Ward-Prowse. Good work from Kudus to win the penalty. He was okay in glimpses tonight. I thought Kudus, when he got the ball, it was refreshing to see him get the ball and drive, and it was just hilarious at some points where he got the ball, he drove forward, and nobody can keep up with him, so we had no option to pass to, which was quite frustrating in that sense. But I think it reinforced our naivety tonight by not signing a winger, because that's desperately what we missed tonight, and it's been obvious for quite a while. Who'd have thought if you don't play a left winger, and you're going to struggle, you don't play a fundamental part of position, then you're going to struggle, and we did tonight. And I just hope that's not a preview for what we're going to see for the rest of the season, because we aren't going to sign anyone now. Sullivan, Noble and Steiden were all at the London Stadium tonight, so any activity is now increasingly unlikely in terms of players coming into the club. Pablo Fornals just stood in one of the corners and watched the game in his full West Ham tracksuit, which was just a bit bizarre, and even the commentators mentioned that as well. So I'm not entirely sure what the situation is there. He definitely didn't look like a player that was out of the door and leaving the football club, but who knows what is happening in that sense. But look, we can't sway away from how poor we were tonight. I think we were lucky to get a point. I think Bournemouth will class that and put that down as 2 points lost tonight. On paper, when we look back at it, or when we looked at it before, would I have taken a point? No, but after that first half, I'd have snatched your hand off for a point, and that's what we got in the end. Even towards the end, there was no urgency to really go on and win the game. We were at home against a side below us in the table, and they were the most likely to win the game in the end, which again adds to the frustration and probably why there was very few West Ham fans left in the stadium when the full-time whistle went. And to be fair, I can't blame them because it wasn't fantastic. Let's take some comments and see what you guys are saying. Jesus, lads, I think we're going to be in for some tough weeks. We certainly are. James Will-Prowse can't play out. None of them can play out the left. Will-Prowse from the first half, we realised that didn't work. Then he went, I know. Let's play Phillips on the left because he's a brilliant left wing, and that didn't work either, did it? A tough debut for Calvin Phillips. I said before the game tonight, and I've said after he signs, we're going to have to display some patience with him because you can't expect him to come in and be brilliant after not playing consistently for 18 months in the Premier League. So we're going to have some patience with Phillips, but he wasn't fantastic tonight by any stretch. He was quite poor, but let's just stick with him and hopefully he will come good. Paul says, playing like that, we should be in the bottom six. Massively exposes how poor the Premier League is this year. We are sat, I think we're still sat sixth in the league, and we were absolutely dreadful tonight. We are awful. We are awful. We're just an awful football team to watch, aren't we? It's just dreadful. It is genuinely dreadful. Usual Suspect says, I had 2 tickets for tonight's game. I gave them to someone I don't like. Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's have a look here. I don't know about Phillips. Felt the money could have been spent elsewhere. He's rusty as hell. He was always going to be rusty. If you thought he was going to come in tonight and be blistering and brilliant and put in a fantastic shift, then I think you're mistaken because you can't expect a player that's been on the sideline for so long to just come in and flick a switch and do what he did at Leeds. It's just never going to happen. So it's going to take some weeks for him to adapt again, and hopefully he can get back to where he was at Leeds. Let's hope so. For a defensive-minded manager who was himself a defender, he doesn't know what a defender looks like. We were severely missing one. I thought Mavropanos was okay tonight. I thought Zuma was quite poor. Obviously, with his part, he played in the goal early on, and I mean his legs looked awful tonight. They usually look bad. He usually struggles to run, but I thought he really struggled tonight to run. He's just battered, isn't he? His legs are bad. Everyone outplays us. When did we last play better than the opposition? It's true. Everyone comes to our place and dominates us, and I know that's the way Moyes wants to play, and that's the way he's asserting his mentality on things, which is quite depressing. But everyone's quicker to the second balls. We had about 5 men in midfield tonight, and they were still winning the second balls. They had more intensity. They've got a clear route and clear style of play. And I know we've got to cut a bit of slack because of the situation and because of the player issues that we've had in the lead up to this game. Because Moyes didn't know who, when he was waking up this morning, he didn't know who he was going to have available to play. So. Look, we just didn't look like we had an idea what we were doing. There was no real game plan. Was Moyes' team talk given in a foreign language, or because everybody was just running around, not really functioning and not really working together. It was just, it was quite bizarre. A load of old rubbish. It wasn't very good at all. You on the bench next game? We're going up to Old Trafford, so if Moyes wants to give me a call, I'll get on the bench if he really wants to. But I want 125 grand a week because that's what Ings is on. So I think I deserve that. Should we be surprised when Moyes he started 4 CDMs really? Well, I suppose Ward-Prowse in the CDM, is he? But started 4 centre midfielders, which was lunacy in the end. When you look back at it now, why he didn't play Ings or Cornet, it's beyond me. It's absolutely beyond me. We have absolutely no decent centre halves at all, and nobody on the wing. It's an issue. The centre halves, I think it's a real issue there. I thought Mavropanos was actually okay tonight, but Zuma was really wobbly, and I'm not just talking about his legs, his performance as well was really wobbly. And Mavropanos was a bit better tonight, but it's definitely an issue that needs to be assessed. I'm going to scroll down. All those midfielders and no midfield. Zuma has a turning circle of an oil tanker, so does Souček. We've got a couple of players like that. For sure. Right, let's take some of your comments. Take the point is for having very low standards, irrelevant if the reasons. I'm not shocked at all trying to fit Phillips in with Alvarez didn't work. After that first half performance, I'll take the point because we were dreadful and they should have been 3-0 up at half time. So, we've got a point that I wasn't expecting us to receive at half time. So it was a very dire performance tonight, and expecting Phillips to come in and be brilliant was just not going to happen. And it was massively square pegs in round holes for that midfield tonight. It was just awful, absolutely awful. Will says for a counter-attacking side, we don't counter-attack enough. We don't have the pace to counter-attack enough. We've got Kudus, and that's it. Honestly, our intensity tonight, we were so pedestrian, lethargic, and it just seemed like we were all a bit like, oh. Like everybody on social media, like wasn't really focusing on this game today. They were more focusing on transfers and deadline day. It seemed like the players had that mentality as well. They weren't really like, it's just a game that they found out about this morning or something. It just didn't seem like it was too much of a too much effort went in. It was a bit like, oh well, it is what it is, you know. There just wasn't any intensity there to fill us with any confidence at all. It also says, nor are we good enough at defending to be able to just sit back. Exactly, we try and play this way, and we're not good enough to play the way that we're trying to play. It's a mess. It is a mess. Will says, I'm very worried not to get any Steiden signings in with Liverpool sniffing after him. Yeah, if they come calling, he's going to say yes, isn't he, if we're being totally honest. So we want to keep hold of him for as long as possible. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Full time 1-1. Was a really poor game of football. We were really poor, and I just hope that Moyes has learnt his lesson tonight. And if we see that same lineup on Sunday, I think I might cry up at Manchester, to be honest with you, because I'd rather, I can't believe I'm saying this, I'd rather have seen Danny Ings start tonight in replacement of one of their midfielders, take him out, because it was just woeful. Square pegs in round holes doesn't work, and it didn't work again tonight. And I just, I struggle to see how it changes with no signings coming in now. I don't know whether Fornals is going. Ben Rama looks like he's gone, but God knows what's happening with Fornals. But look, hopefully a reaction and something a bit different, a miracle on Sunday. And look, we'll see what happens. But from me, come on, you Irons. Thanks all of you for watching this show and all the other shows today. It's been a long day. I'm ready for bed. So thank you very much indeed. All the transfer updates today that have come to no avail because we've not signed anyone, typical, and the build-up show and this reaction show as well. I think we've all vented our frustrations quite well. Will, thank you very much indeed. Better after show than the game itself. Well, that's not difficult realistically, but I thank you for that. Absolutely. Cheers. How the hell are we sixth? I tweeted that at half time. How the hell are we sixth playing like that? I genuinely have no idea. But roll on. Sunday there'll be a preview, Friday, Saturday night, something like that, building up to our game at Old Trafford. But until then, thank you very much. Come on, you Irons, and I'll see you soon right here on West Ham Official. We share the points tonight, and we are probably fortunate to be even getting that. Really poor, and we must move on to Man United. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.